I dedicated myself to sobriety, and God told me that I would be rewarded and that he would show me.
So I think that's really important what Doechii just said there. She dedicated her life to sobriety. She mentions the benefits of being sober, and she really sat there and focused to make the album that won her a Grammy, and part of that focus was putting down some of her vices, and look at the fruits it bore her as a result. A Grammy, which is like the ultimate acknowledgement from your peers and from your industry. And I think this is super important because we don't really have enough of this type of messaging in mainstream hip hop. A lot of the hip hop is like degenerative, and even the underground stuff I like, you talk about Griselda and all that, and I've made this critique. Again, it's something I also conflict with because I listen to some of this stuff, but it does bother me to a certain degree. Even in certain stuff like Griselda, Rome Streets, Makami, it's like gun talk, like it's majority degenerative behavior. So when I see someone like Doechii, she comes out and she's actually speaking truth to something real, and it's a good message like sobriety and the benefits that can get you, I think that's awesome. Now, I'm currently fully sober. I haven't smoked weed since May 2021. So it'll be 4 years since I smoked weed this upcoming May. And I haven't drank anything, alcohol, wine, beer, in 2 weeks. On Friday, this Friday, upcoming Friday, it'll be 3 weeks since I drank it all. My current vice is the sparkling water. So I know a sparkling water hate to see me coming, but this is what I've been on the past 3 weeks. And I never really struggled with drugs, thankfully. I never struggled with it. I've never felt like I was addicted or anything. It was something that I'd done out of boredom, for recreation, out of boredom. But I know someone like Doechii, she sounds like, and I don't know the whole Doechii story. Feel free to, let's talk about it in the comments. But it seems like it's something that she may have struggled with. And a lot of people do struggle with drug addiction for various reasons. Some people got in physical accidents where they had to take painkillers and that morphed into something else. Some people lose someone they love, and then that leads them into darker things. Whatever the case may be, right? Antidepressants, whatever the case may be, right? The fact that Doechii comes on stage during the biggest moment of her career, everyone is watching in the music industry. There's drugs rampant in the music industry, mind you. The fact that she's able to come up here and she talks about sobriety and the benefits of sobriety, I think it's super important to everyone watching. Because I guarantee you, you watching, you either struggle with sobriety, have in the past, or know someone who does. It's a very common thing in our society, here in America and worldwide. So, and we really don't have a lot of rappers who talk about that struggle. The one that comes to mind most recently, Eminem had an album about it, Recovery. But I just think overall, and this is something that's been bugging me a lot more lately, I think overall we need more positive messaging or productive messaging. It don't even gotta be positive, but productive messaging, a productive means to an end in rap music. And I think talking about sobriety, which is something many of us struggle with, if we don't struggle with it directly, we know someone who struggled with it. I think this is a very worthy conversation. And this kind of reminds me of an interview that ScHoolboy Q did on Hot 97 years ago. It was when ScHoolboy Q was promoting his song, Hands on the Wheel. And on that song, ScHoolboy Q says,
I love drunk driving, man, I'm something else. I love drunk driving, man, I'm something else. I love drunk driving, man, I'm something else.
I love drunk driving, man, I'm something else. He's on the song pretty much glorifying drunk driving. If you listen to that bar in the context of the song, Hands on the Wheel, I love drunk driving, like it's a song about drinking and driving at its core. I mean, it can be interpreted as a song about drinking and driving. The song is called Hands on the Wheel. And I remember Rosenberg is interviewing him and he checks ScHoolboy Q on this.
How are you doing, ScHoolboy Q?
Chilling, man. Tired.
Okay, listen, I have a bone to pick with you. My brother-in-law was killed in a drunk driving accident in May, and I did this PSA last week, like a week and a half ago, about rappers endorsing drinking and driving. Literally the week after I talked about this, you dropped a song, coincidentally, I know. You dropped a song called Hands on the Wheel with A$AP Rocky.
Yeah.
Clearly, on some level, endorsing drinking and driving. And as someone whose family was so deeply affected by it, I'm curious to what you'd say about whether you think that has an impact on people, whether you think it's a wise decision to put out a song like that, that on some level to kids will endorse drinking and driving.
All I could really say is sorry. I didn't mean it in no way to where, but I know I do have an influence on kids and everything, but I didn't mean it in, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't mean it in that way.
And to ScHoolboy Q's credit, he took ownership of this. He didn't dodge it. He says, you know what? It was wrong and I didn't mean it like that. He actually took responsibility for what he said. So shout out to ScHoolboy Q for that. And when I was younger, I looked at it like, look at Rosenberg, this is a nerd. Like, man, ScHoolboy Q is not going to influence anyone to drink and drive. It's a song. It's a rap song. Get over it. It has no influence. I felt like that when I was younger. But nowadays, I can come back and listen to that interview, and I'm more on Rosenberg's side. Like, yeah, don't put this in the music. You may think that what you have to say is not going to influence people in a certain way, or you may be just speaking your experience, which is the excuse people will use. I'm just talking about my experience. But people actually listen to you. Like, there's going to be someone who actually comes out and actually vibes to that song, Drinking and Driving. It sounds silly to say, but people are influenced by rap. Rap is the most, if you're talking about most influential things in the world right now, if you were to make a list of 10, 20 things that are the most influential, rap music is certainly one of the most influential. Top 20 for sure. I mean, look at someone like Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty wears a whole Nike get up ski mask type joint. He calls it a shiesty. Everyone now calls it a shiesty. Rappers start growing their hair out and twisting it up, twists and dreadlocks. People start growing their hair out, twisting dreadlocks. Kendrick rocks a whole Canadian tux denim fit with the hat cocked to the side at the Grammys. Watch how people start wearing them type of shoes or wearing that type of Canadian tux and you know what I mean? So it's very influential. So the idea that you rapping about, ScHoolboy Q rapping about drinking and driving on the song is not going to have any influence, it's naive to believe that. So yeah, back then I would be more so on ScHoolboy Q's side, but now I'm more so on Rosenberg's side. And this is something that I've noticed as I've gotten older. I'm just way more sensitive to topics in rap, things that are said on records. And I had a semi-viral tweet that went up this week where I make a critique on Kendrick Lamar's GNX album. And I think it's a good album. I think that type of album is exactly what Kendrick needed. Kendrick's album's usually more thematic and conceptual. I wanted something more easy listening, casual, something I could just vibe with. But the one critique that I had on the album was the features. And I said, I wish these features would have gone to people who are actually more focused on the music as opposed to people who are involved in degenerative behavior, where they kind of have one foot in, one foot out, kind of taking the gang more serious than the music, or they're not prioritizing the music as much. And people create the straw man argument that I'm saying, I don't want to hear Kendrick rap on an album with gang members. Quite the contrary. I mean, ScHoolboy Q and J-Rock are all over Kendrick's albums. But when ScHoolboy Q and J-Rock are on Kendrick albums, like on Money Trees, like on The Spiteful Chant, they're more introspective. They're more self-aware. It's not like peddling a poisonous topic like what you hear on GNX. You hear Doechii 6 rap.
Mom trying to tag a nigga toe.
Glorifying, I'm gonna tag somebody toe, which is basically glorifying killing people on a Kendrick album. I don't want to hear that on a Kendrick album. You had AZ Chike talking about, I'm gonna FaceTime my ops, I'm up the street.
Let me FaceTime my op, bitch, I'm up the street to the prey before them shooters came and nailed to the car.
In LA, the past couple years, we just saw a guy, and I'm not gonna say his name, I'm not gonna even show his picture out of respect. We just saw a guy on FaceTime get shot to death in LA. A lot of these things said on the record influence in some type of way. So my thing was, and I know it seems like I'm going off topic, but I'm gonna bring it all the way back together, trust me. Always bring it back together. The topic is positive versus negative influences in rap. So me, on a Kendrick album, I'm not trying to hear that type of content. So I listen to GNX and I went and I listened to these artists who are featured. I listen to their other music. And I hear, and this is no shade to any of these guys, I hear Doechii 6 in the song. He got a lyric where he goes,
The nigga do too much with them hands and I'm stabbing the nigga.
Basically, if I'm having a fight with a dude, I'm having a fair one with a guy, and he starts working me, I'm gonna pull a knife out and stab him.
The nigga do too much with them hands and I'm stabbing the nigga.
So people can make the argument that they're trying to better themselves, they're trying to do something positive, and now that they're on GNX, that they can begin to do, be different. But this song is after GNX. That song was after GNX. The song is called Walk Down, which is like the opposite of a drive-by. A drive-by, you drive by and drive off. Drive by, shoot, drive off. Walk down means I'm walking up to you. It's the big L. It's the big L lyric. This ain't Cali, it's Harlem. We do walk-bys to walk somebody down. This is after GNX. So this is my thing. I would prefer this type of artist to not get that look. I would prefer that look to go to someone else who's more serious about the artistry, as opposed to the degeneracy. Someone like a West Side Boogie, right? Who's also he's a gang member, but he's serious about them. You can hear it. He puts time and effort, and he tries to come up with new ideas and new themes. It's a much better fit. So watch me bringing this all the way back around and connect it to Doechii. Doechii, I like that she goes and she puts a positive message out there, and we don't get enough of it in hip hop, I feel. We get a lot of degeneracy, and even the fan bases. Me saying that I don't want to hear this type of thing on a Kendrick album is somehow controversial. So even the fan, to some, a lot of people understood what I was saying, but it's controversial to some. So even the fan bases are a little bit desensitized to this. I'm not desensitized to it. I'm actually more sensitive to it as the years goes on. So when I hear Doechii, shout out, yo, Sobriety. Look what it's done for me. I think that's great. I think it's great. I think it's important. And I don't want to hold Doechii up as like some holier than thou figure. I don't want to treat Doechii like how some people treat Shay Noir or Rhapsody, where they only mention Shay Noir or Rhapsody to downplay another female artist who they feel like is too revealing or talks about sex too much. I don't want to use Doechii like that. I want to just applaud her for doing something she may not even have recognized, because really she was just bearing her soul right here. But I think that mention of sobriety is going to help. It's going to help at least one person who's either struggling with sobriety, who's in that audience, who's a celebrity who finds themselves, a lot of musicians find themselves struggling with sobriety, it seems, or it's going to help someone who watched her, or is a kid who's watching her. It's going to make them look, what is sobriety? Okay, when you don't do drugs, okay, so I'll just never do drugs. To me, that's important. And it becomes more important. It's something I didn't think about when I was younger, but it's something that becomes more important. And in the rappers who put out degenerative music, it stands out to me more. And I'm not perfect on this either. Whenever I mention this topic, I always mention I'm conflicted, because I do listen to some of the degenerative stuff when I'm in the gym or when I'm, doing other things. But even when I'm listening to it, it feels odd. Even one of my favorite rappers, Nipsey Hussle, right? He got a song called Bullets Ain't Got No Name, which I like because the beat, the flow is crazy. But the hook goes, I can't get behind this. And this is something I've been feeling for years. I did an album review on one of Freddie Gibbs' album years ago. And Freddie Gibbs is like, I'm listening to the album like, yo, Freddie, why are you rapping about all this gang stuff? It sounds like you dissing gangs. You talking about you want your son to be a VL. Since like track number 5, Gibbs is really talking this gangbang shit, you feel me? He said he don't want his son to be no doctor. We gonna initiate him into the gang lifestyle. I think that's what I just heard. I don't think Gibbs is that stupid, you feel me? So I think he might just be rapping. I don't think a nigga is that stupid. But we gonna rewind that a bit. Fatty. So I can front up in the Fatty. You know what I mean? I be listening to the lyrics, bro. Like, niggas rapping about selling Fetty, which is fentanyl. I don't respect that, bro. I go fuck with the song, but I don't respect that. Niggas rapping about, I want my son to be a doctor. I want him to be a vice lord, big rank vice lord like myself. I don't respect that, bro. Bro, you're rich already. You made it. You're famous. Like, why are you stuck in this? I don't think 10 years ago I would have listened to that song and said that. That's something new that's come to me. Like, I think a lot of audiences are becoming desensitized to degeneracy in rap. I'm becoming more sensitive to it. And as I point out how more sensitive I'm becoming to it, I'm realizing that for some reason it's controversial, but it shouldn't be. This type of stuff ruins, people like to go on this whole I'm pro-black, I'm for the culture thing. How could you be that? How could you be performative like that super pro-black and all this, but you take issue with what I'm saying. So anyways, what I want, if y'all comfortable in the comments, what I would like y'all to do, if you're comfortable, if you're not, it's fine. What's your journey with sobriety? Maybe you've never struggled with it, but do you know someone who struggled with it? You don't gotta say their names. I think just sharing these stories is gonna help somebody. And this is all comes from Doechii just sharing her story. So if we could even get one person on the track to sobriety, just on this vid, that just shows the power of Doechii just making this. It's, to her, she probably doesn't even remember saying it. It was just a side comment in her Grammy speech. But if we can get just one person to think about sobriety and then start it, and even if you fail, it's cool. Start again. Get your little 2-day streak, 3-day streak, 1 week. If you relapse, get back right on it. If we can get one person on that track, it just shows the power of Doechii having the courage to speak up about something like this. And y'all know, I'm no Doechii super fan or anything. I really don't even like her music like that. I think her album deserved the Grammy, but it's not something that I listen to. But I think these types of messages, we don't got enough positive messages in rap. Yes, rap comes from the streets, but on the message, Grandmaster Flash, he's talking about the streets, but he's not glorifying it. A lot of rappers have lost the responsibility that comes with creating music and how it affects the people around you. So anyways, yeah, if you're comfortable, sobriety, how has it affected you, friends, family? Are you on the streak? Post your streak in the comments. Like I said, I'm almost 4 years no weed. In May, I'll be 4 years. On Friday, I'll be 3 weeks no drinking. And straight like that, straight edge, like CM Punk. So yeah, anyway, that's all I got for today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.